Here we are. Round of shots. Well, I got the extra screen up. Why am I doing that? I'm still learning this restream platform. I don't need that. That's what I need. There you go. Oh, okay. Kevin Hale here on this Sunday night, August 17th, doing another round of shots with my partners in crime. I got the Doc in the house, Davo, Corey Price, and Chris Beasy is back.
Woo!
Beasy, you did a solid for me. I reached out to you on short notice. Buzz was supposed to join us tonight. He had something come up. I was by design had kept the tonight's last week we had like lots, seven people or so, and you made your debut. So appreciate it. Everyone, Doc, I'll start with you. How are you doing? Sorry.
Doing fine, Kevin. This is just like you, keeping us on our toes. I never know who's going to be here on this panel. I was ready to take my wrath out on Buzz Baker, and then last minute he's not here. So let me see who today can suffer
one.
The wrath of Doc. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Corey and all his numbers. You can go at him. Corey, well, let's go to you. Corey, it's been a while. How are you, sir?
It has been a while, Kevin. Thanks for having me on. It's I've had a fun summer, and we're getting close to football again, thankfully.
Do you be honest? Are you enjoying how the heat and humidity here in the Ville?
At times it can be a little rough, but if I had the option of being too hot or too cold, I'm picking too hot myself, personally.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I'm giving me a hoodie any day, and I'm happy. Davo is in the house. Davo, what's up, bro?
Davo's tired. We adopted a new puppy on Friday. He was actually dumped by a hunter. He's a full-bred beagle. You might see him in a little while. He might show up there next to me, but he's a full-bred beagle, and he got dumped, and we saved him. So now I'm a dog dad of 3. I had an insanely crazy wedding in Lexington on Saturday and got home really late. So I haven't got a lot of sleep, but I'm here, and we're going to have a good time.
We are going to have a good time. All right. And Beezy's, what's up, man?
Oh, nothing. I'm glad I could replace Dave Buzz Baker. It's been such an accomplishment to replace
That's
him.
a good point.
So
yeah,
no,
I need you bring his do your best Buzz imitation tonight.
Oh, I'll definitely try.
Go at Doc, and I want to hear that side of you.
Yeah, but I appreciate you having me on tonight, and I definitely agree with you, Corey, that I much prefer the hot over the cold for sure. Like let it be 100 degrees over it being like 0 degrees outside for sure, in my opinion. But also, congrats on getting a new dog, Davo, and hopefully the wedding went well this weekend with DJing. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right, bring it in. Q, come on. You gotta use both hands to pick.
Precious.
What's the name?
Oh, I originally wanted Blue for selfish reasons, but I got overruled, so we're going with Winston.
Okay.
Like Churchill.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. He kind of looked all sophisticated, so I just figured Winston was going to be his name. So.
Or it could be named after Winston Bennett.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's put it all together. So that makes me a lot happier.
What's the football player? Winston
Guy.
Winston Guy. Okay, yeah. So now we're putting all the puzzle pieces together.
Or if you're a smoker, isn't it like a cigarette brand too?
It is, but yeah, I'm not a smoker, so we're gonna forget that idea.
Well, good for you. All right, we are streaming on the X and YouTube platforms, doing this all this blue talk. Let's get the party started, guys. Looking ahead, I was talking about really the latest on Kentucky football. For the record, next Sunday show, I'm going to throw the invite out to several people because it's strictly going to be a prediction show. We're going to go through every game. Everyone's going to predict. I know it's a prediction, and we're going to keep track. So, we'll see how the season plays out and see who did their predictions through blue lenses versus maybe
who has to buy lunch for the entire panel.
or figure that out. Well, yeah. So that'll be next week's show. But Doc, I'll start with you. As of today, the what is the consensus with Kentucky football? Is it safe to say that Calzada is the week 1 starter, or where are we at? I know Stoops had mentioned a wide receiver would be out as well. So, what you got for us, Doc?
Yeah, I think Stoops also mentioned that it would most likely be wide receiver by committee this year. So I don't think we're going to have a go-to guy. Not a whole lot of news coming out. This is one of those situations where, with Stoops being as inwardly directed and focused as he is, that I wish we could just fast forward these next 2 weeks. Let's get started. I can't wait, not for next week, but for 2 Sundays from now, because by that time, I think with that first game under our belt, that will tell us a whole lot. But not a whole lot of new news. I've been optimistic. There's been nothing coming out of camp that would lend me to believe to not be just as optimistic about that.
Okay. Davo, what have you heard, or what's on your mind? Davo. Oh. Can you hear me? Oh, no.
Believe it or not, the porch is the best place I have service at in the entire house. Outside, it's wild. I lean on the old cliche: is no news is good news at this point, right?
Sometimes,
yeah, we heard Zach Calzada is presumably the QB1. Cutter both really last scrimmages, so like at least the fans should be confident that if Calzada doesn't work out, that Boley sounds like he can hold his own. So it sounds like QB1 and QB1.
Okay. Corey, purge out what's your thoughts and all your inside information that you have.
Well, I don't get too much inside info, honestly, but I know Stu's mentioned the scrimmage this past Saturday. He felt the defense played much better than the previous Saturday, so that's a good sign. Like I said, Zach Calzada, it's been probably neck and neck with him and Cutter. I think Zach's taken a step forward this last scrimmage, but Cutter's had plenty of experience last season, so I'm not too worried if. And I want to jinx it, but if something happens to Zach, I think we're fine with Cutter. I'm excited about the defense. We got a lot of guys returning, a lot of guys that are transfers coming in. It's a nice mix. Offense-based question is the O-line. We got some transfers there. We got Jagger coming back at center. I'm hoping he finds a way to snap the ball correctly, more often than not. But I'm like Doc. I'm really tired of this this summer and this offseason. I'm ready for the 30th.
Football.
That's right.
Dave, I think he said his porch is the best connection, but he's unconnected.
Yeah.
BZ, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been trying to keep up with scrimmages a little bit, and I've been reading about what everybody has been saying. But it sounds like Zach Calzada will be quarterback 1, but also at the same time, he probably will have a short leash this upcoming year. I would not be surprised if he's not doing too well. You could see Cutter Boley playing in game 2 or game 3 of the season. So, like I said, I wish Calzada nothing but the best. But if he's not it, hopefully Boley will be it, and if Boley isn't it this year, he'll be it. Hopefully, come next year, being a redshirt sophomore. And then, like I said, I'll be interested about the offensive line. Hopefully, the offensive line is improved compared to the past 3 years. I think that's one of the reasons why UK has gone downhill a little bit, going 7-6, 7-6, and then of course 4-8 this past year. And then the only other thing I would want to talk about is the wide receivers. I'll be interested to see what happens with that. Of course, Kendrick Law has been banged up, but I believe he was back at practice this past weekend, so I'm glad he's healthy again. But it'll be interesting to see who will be wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, because it looks like nobody is really leading in that position group.
Is it me or is BZ? I think BZ could tell me all 22 players.
I don't think I could do that for sure, but I could definitely name you quite a few.
Who was the wide receiver? Who is the wide receiver that Stoops announced that would be out just for the game or all season? Who is it?
For sure.
Cole. Yeah,
Is it Cole? I
there
think.
you go.
Yeah.
All right. Um, you know,
By the way, I got on my damn phone. I don't know what's going on.
you are. I was gonna, or you could just get on your roof.
On your
Yeah.
roof.
All right.
I don't have a ladder to get up that high.
Anything else I'm seeing football wise? I guess not.
Kevin, I think it's still a little bit too early to determine this, but one of the things that I've noticed, and it's almost, I'm hoping it's a fallout from all this NIL, but it seems like that the players this year are conducting themselves a lot more professionally.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is going to be the way forward from now on, but it does seem like that everybody is looking at this now as more of a job. Now,
Mhm.
whether that turns out to be a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not sure. But if it does result in people really locking down and focusing in and really taking this as a job, I think it speaks well for football
Yeah.
in general.
That's fair.
But you also have to think about there's also a lot of players who are 5th, 6th, 7-year seniors, on this year's team as well.
Yeah, I think that's probably plays into it. It's a matter of maturity, but on the other hand, you're probably going to see a lot more of that as time goes on. So this may end up actually being the new normal.
I sure hope so.
Jay Hayes, what's up, my brother? Offensive player Willie Rodriguez, defensive player Cam Oates. Yeah, that's what he's bringing up. Good, thanks for the feedback. What's been who's the one player, Corey, that's on the offensive side that we can't lose. We have to. This guy is the potential playmaker offensively.
I think Jamori Macklin. He was his numbers didn't really show it. I think the first 8 or 9 games last year, but the last 3-4 games he stepped up. I know it was a blowout to Louisville, but he had some big numbers in that game. It was great that he came back. He could have gone pro. I think Jamori probably has the biggest upside.
Same question to you, Doc.
Offensive side, I think obviously it's going to be quarterback. It's always the quarterback in terms of who's going to end up helping this team. I'm a little bit concerned that there still is not a quarterback controversy, but a quarterback discussion at this particular point.
Fair.
My preference would have been that the Calzada would have just been so good, so head and shoulders. So this is the guy that we wanted all along. This is the second, third read quarterback. This is not the game manager that we paid all this money for. I would prefer him to be head and shoulders above the crowd. But given the fact that a lot of times these quarterbacks are injured, it's not a bad thing to have a number 2 that's relatively close. But you know the adage, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you really don't have any
one.
quarterbacks. Yeah,
right.
You don't have any quarterbacks. Yeah. On the defense, they've been speaking so much about the secondary. I think those guys have to stay healthy. You've heard so much about Ty Bryant, Jordan Lovett returning, providing leadership experience. I'd hate to see one of those guys go out early.
Yeah.
Davo, same for you. Going offensively and go on and give your defensive guy that we should be depending on.
Yeah. Hopefully my internet is can get on Spectrum's ass. But offensively, just as a whole, as a collective group, I'm really interested in the offensive line because we all know it's going to start up front on the offense, and if we can't get a running game, then the passing game isn't going to work, right? So that is my most interesting thing as far as not just in general. And I'm just really going to go with the same thing on the defensive side as well. The defensive line, we have cause a lot of disruption this year. If we expect to be in games, defense wins championships. And although we know Kentucky football is not really in the hunt for a championship, defense does win a lot of games too. So I need to make a defensive push this year.
PZ.
Yeah, I think like what Doc said, I would say probably Zach Calzada would be your offensive player because everything comes down to your quarterback. I mean, I know the offensive line has to protect the quarterback to make decisions, but for Zach Calzada, he's known, like you said, a game manager, and he's able to just make the check down passes. And like I said, I feel like Calzada will be able to do that this year if he doesn't see anybody open. He'll just check it down and run back or the next closest option for that. For the defensive side, there's so many great players, but probably it just comes down to leadership. Ty Bryant, was mentioned. There's one player that I feel like is really under the radar on the defensive side, and he showed a lot of great plays. I mean, last year as a freshman, but Tron Nichols, I'm really excited to see what he can do this upcoming year. I don't know if he's a redshirt freshman or a sophomore, but interested in seeing him. And then David Gusta on the defensive line. So I'm interested about that as well.
All right, Davo, stop playing around, man. Are you? I think your voice, or at least your voice, is here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
I don't know what the hell is going on. It's been a hell of a weekend.
Blame it on the weekend.
It is.
All right. That's the football talk for now, or Kentucky football talk. I'm gonna definitely talk some other college football stuff, but let me switch over to our Kentucky men's basketball. I don't know the latest updates. I'm hearing Davo staying with you and your voice. There's a injury, a player injury. Jaden, we had an arrival. What's the latest and greatest basketball stuff you got?
Oh, the newest basketball player. God, I still can't get his name down correctly.
Give it a shot.
Oh, he just left.
He's gone.
He's done.
He's on the phone with Spectrum right now.
To pronounce it for him.
Give it a shot. How to pronounce his name?
Andrea Yelovich.
Yelovich. Okay.
Yes. Because he got yelled.
All right, staying with you, BZ. Since you got the answer correctly, what's the latest hoops news and info you got?
Yeah, I mean, Mark Pope was on Matt Norlander's podcast recently. And I think he said that he hopes to have Jaden Quaintance back come November or the start of SEC play. And I think Jaden Quaintance's team actually wants him back sooner if he can to start out the beginning of the year. From what I've been reading online. But I would love to see Jaden Quaintance. I don't want him to rush back. I want him fully 100%, whether that be, come December or the start of SEC play. I just want him healthy before he comes back from his ACL injury. And then, of course, with Andrea Yelovich, I feel like if everything can click for him, he could be like, a top 3 best player on this year's basketball team for Kentucky basketball. And I'm happy he's finally in the United States, and I'm happy that he's coming to Lexington, but I believe he could be the perfect player to replace Andrew Carr. I mean, he's tall, lengthy, and it's a three-point shooter. I feel like he's better than Carr defensively, though.
Doc, what you got?
I think you know me, I'm kind of a worrier. So I think the real key to this whole season will be whether Jaden Quaintance is able to come back. That's going to be the difference between Final Four and maybe not Final Four. I don't want it to be a distraction either. You know how chemistry issues can kind of come into play. And if there's some uncertainty about when a player is going to return, then how is he going to fit into the regular rotation when they do get that rotation established? A lot of it is going to be dependent on how well the team does in the early season. Okay, if they're rolling along, if they're knocking teams off, if they're coming through with maybe one loss at the most, then he probably won't be missed quite as much. But If on the other hand, they're struggling out of the gate, then those questions of when he's going to return are going to start dogging the team.
This is a loaded team, Corey. I mean, you're looking top to bottom. There could be 10 people in the rotation. What's been the latest and greatest news and info you got?
Yeah, this is probably our deepest team since the 2015 squad. I know it's kind of news, but Mark mentioned on his podcast with Matt Norlander that he wants the season increased from 32 games to 40 games.
Well, that's one of my upcoming topics.
Oh, okay.
Hold that thought, but stay with the roster. What do you see and feel?
I hope Jaden Quains is better at basketball than he is at driving. That's all. That's all I gotta say.
That's funny.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that that Mark Pope said that I believe Jalen Lowe shot 42% from the 3-point line during practice over the summer. So that's great to hear.
Well, speaking of banner bust, Jay, with bringing it tonight, appreciate you, brother. There was we'll get to that 40 game expansion on Coach Pope's mind, but there was also some nugget that KSR shared where several SEC coaches talked with KSR anonymously about this roster. It's basically, the quote is it's a national championship or bust when you're paying double, triple, or quadruple whatever else is, being paid around the country. Doc, Ohio State supposedly shelled out quite a bit of money for this past football season, and they won a national championship. Is this the way?
It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, it's always been championship or bust in a certain way for the fans involved. Now, how realistic that is or not every year is probably not, but from an emotional standpoint, it's always been championship or bust. I think with this particular team, with the way Mark Pope has kind of structured it, he's almost the victim of his own recruiting success. He's brought in all these guys, and with Kentucky being a basketball school, why shouldn't they pay 2, 3, or 4 times more than Vanderbilt or Auburn would pay for their basketball players? To me, that's not surprising at all. Give me some real news.
I'm just the messenger here. Corey, what can you add to that?
I agree with Doc. Our expectations are always high. I think with guys getting money now, I think it's going to be even higher. Maybe too high, honestly. But yeah, like I mentioned before, this is our deepest roster in 10 years. So on paper, they've got what it takes to go deep. I mean, obviously, in March, it's random. Anything can happen on any given night. But on paper, I mean, this is Final Four team for sure.
Yeah, and on paper, with all those players, Beasy, last time we were this loaded, there was that P word.
P word.
Platoon.
Platoon. Yeah, the blue and white platoon. I completely went over my head there. but yeah, no, this team is probably, not as deep as the 2014-2015 team, but they definitely have as much depth. Like, the talent on that 2014-2015 team will never compare to what it's today, just because of how talented and loaded college basketball is currently, and with players returning back to college basketball as well with NIL. But like you said, it's championship or bust for UK every year, and it's no matter how realistic or unrealistic the expectations are. And I believe Mark Pope said on Matt Norlander's podcast, I think he said he would
Y'all been promoting Matt Norlander's podcast a lot on this show, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I believe he said his first year of coaching at UK, he would give himself a B or B minus, I believe, because he's like, we didn't reach our goal of winning the national championship. So he's being hard on himself and everything. But it literally just depends on how this team comes together. But like that anonymous coach said, that there's been double, triple, or quadruple compared to other teams. So it'll just be interesting to see what happens. But it's crazy how low of a grade Mark Pope gave himself for his first year at UK.
Maybe those other coaches need to stop being so nosy, Doc.
Well, let me ask you guys this. What do you think about anonymous type sources? Does the fact that those coaches spoke out anonymously, does that kind of water down what they end up saying? What do you think about anonymous quotes?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like it's good because it protects the coaches, because there's no way a coach would tell a media member that at all if they weren't anonymous at all.
What say you, Doc? You're Mr. Media. Talk to us.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. I think a lot of it all depends on who's not actually who's making the anonymous quote, but who's actually quoting the anonymous quote. If this were some no-name Twitter guy who's saying, yeah, Coach so-and-so said anonymously this, this, and this, you would take that a lot differently than if it were a Matt Norlander coming out or whoever, somebody that you actually knew and familiar with. So it really depends on the source that it's coming from. In fact, I think it depends completely on the source that it's coming from.
Yeah.
Probably AI algorithms. Matt Norlander is going to wonder why he's trending tonight.
Yeah.
But Doc, be honest, as a media guy, have you ever gone to the bad part of town and a dark night with a bag of cash and met one of your sources to get information?
No, I don't have a big enough platform to warrant me risking my life to do something like that. But on the other hand, if it's a matter of getting information, you've got to be able to extract it in any way that you want. Now, I'm not saying you bribe people, but I think it's perfectly okay to grant them anonymity in order to come up with a story. I think that's perfectly fine. But once again, it ends up being your credibility at stake rather than theirs. They're anonymous. You're not.
Yeah.
He said, bribe. Was that a wink? Did you wink when you said that? I'm kidding. I'm trying to stir it, like you said.
Yeah.
Corey, I don't know, did you say your piece on that? No, you didn't. Go. Or did you?
I know, like B said, if they weren't anonymous, they would never give out that kind of info. So I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Well, you sit in a press box during football season. Anything you hear in there, you're probably gonna say anonymous, wouldn't you? You're not gonna get.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not giving names for sure. No doubt.
As much as I try.
Well, I remember a couple years ago when Mark Stoops was about to leave to go to Texas A&M. I was asking these recruits how they felt and everything, like the signees for football, and I left them anonymous in the article that I posted because I just didn't want their name out there to say, what they were thinking about Mark Stoops leaving. I
know. I'm kidding. You did. One of you alluded to, Coach Pope on the go and say it, Matt Norlander podcast. he also mentioned one of the things was he named his best wins and worst lost from last season. I'm looking at obviously the Duke win.
Yeah.
And then him calling the defensive play near the end of the game where they stripped the ball from Cooper.
Flag.
And that still is shown. That's a viral clip. But what was, staying with that, Doc, what was the one big win for him?
No, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer because that was a win that signified Kentucky basketball is back. We've gone for the Duke win. Yes, Kentucky basketball was gone for a couple years during those latter Cal years where they just simply weren't relevant or nearly as relevant as the fans wanted them to. But that win, national stage, Champions Classic, bright lights, that was the one that vaulted them back into the stratosphere of being relevant again. So yeah, that was important. I felt like the Gonzaga win, that was the win. I was actually there. I went out to Seattle, and I remember running into Mitch Barnhart afterwards, and he just had the biggest smile on his face. He said, finally we were able to grab one of these neutral site wins, yeah, and come out on top. Kentucky hadn't had that in a little while, so I thought that was a big one also.
Yeah, let's go on and start getting Calipari trending tonight too for all his failures of the last few years. What was the worst loss, Doc? What was the one game that you just like you kicked your?
Yeah, there were a couple of I think the Ole Miss, the last few minutes of, I think it was the first half, where it was probably the worst basketball I had ever seen played in a little while. And it was those moments that you kind of wonder, okay, is Pope, I mean, how can a team just completely disintegrate like that? So I'd be lying if I said there weren't some seeds of doubt that were kind of creeping into my mind when I saw the team just completely implode like that. I think there were a couple of other 4-minute segments in which you did look at this team and you wondered, where did they learn to play this game? You know, what's going on with that? So that was a little bit concerning to me.
Yeah, that loss to Ohio State too was a stinker. That was a bad loss. Corey, what was the big win for Coach Pope last season?
I would have to.
All right, besides Duke.
Right.
Besides Duke,
I would say the comeback against Gonzaga was pretty big. I think they were down 16, I think, at one point. And so that was a big comeback, going across country to play them. And the worst loss, I have to agree with you, was the Buckeyes. I mean, they were not a good team, and they blew us out by 20 points. That was just not a great performance overall.
Yeah, the Florida win was pretty darn good, given that it was over the national championship team here.
Yeah,
not bad.
That was like a freaking NBA
fun
game
to watch. One of the funnest games I've ever watched at Rupp.
Agree.
Yeah,
Easy.
I mean, there were multiple great wins throughout the whole year. Florida, Duke, Gonzaga. I mean, I think one of the more underrated games that we really don't talk about is that Louisville game with Lamont Butler. What did he go 15 for 15, something like that? And just I feel like that's one of the most underrated games because both head coaches were new, had new players completely. So I would say probably Louisville is definitely up there as one of the best wins for the UK. I would say, the worst losses, first round for sure.
First round win
against Troy. Yeah, so I was happy to finally get a first round win for the first time since 22-23 season, I believe. Yeah, but
yeah. Thank you, Calipari. All right, that's number two.
And then the worst losses, I would probably have to say like Arkansas. Tennessee, I would say probably the worst losses. Of course, Ohio State wasn't close, but I would say even Vanderbilt, like getting down that big against Vanderbilt, coming back in the second half, almost winning, and then losing that game. That was a bad loss too.
Yeah. All right. Davo was conceded the night. I guess Spectrum won. Davo nothing tonight. Davo, we'll chat later. All right, where were we? Oh, let's go. Corey, I'll start with you since you brought it up. On that podcast that Coach Pope was on, he did mention. I think he did there too, right? Maybe it was him advocating for a 40-game season. Which what's the regular season number? Was it 30?
It is 32 now, currently.
32. So you adding 8 more games. I'm as a college basketball fan, I'm all for it. But logistically, how would you pull that off?
It's a great question. Like you, I'm a huge fan. I mean, if they played 90 games, I'd be for it. But obviously, you have to look at the health of the players. Adding more games obviously increases the chances of getting injured, so that's not great. But I mean, obviously, I think the networks would love eight more games. I mean, the the money coming in would be outrageous. So
the money players would actually get paid more.
And I mean,
but I mean, do you start before? Because right now it's what, the first week in November now. So do you start? Does the season start in October, or do you go past? Does it become April Madness?
Yeah, I don't think you should change March Madness. That should stay as it is. So I guess make it the first week of October. I guess. Yeah.
Why not? Doc, what say you?
I'm kind of ambivalent about it. As a basketball fan, the more games, the better. I enjoy watching it. But from a personal standpoint, and it's all about me, right? If you're covering not only men's basketball, but women's basketball and volleyball and everything else that goes on during that time of the year, then it does tend to be rather overwhelming. I was actually laying out the schedule of the men's and women's team this year. And literally with the guys playing on Saturday and Wednesday, and then the women on Sunday and Thursday, it doesn't really leave you a whole lot of downtime. So to me, I'm okay with it, but it's not a hill that I'm going to die on.
Yeah.
What do you do on your downtime? What's so important on your downtime that has to keep us from getting
I don't have any downtime anymore now. That's what I'm saying with the schedule of men's and women's and volleyball, so forth. Every day, there's always something going on, which is a good thing.
Books.
Yeah, got to write a few books here and there.
Speaking of, you know what? I have it up.
I love you for this, Kevin. All this free publicity, I can't.
It is. Check this out, guys. This is the book. And him and his downtime appropriately. What's this first word? Whining. So tell us about
the book does have some sports in it, believe it or not. Actually, a big football article in there is the 5 hardest lessons I've ever learned about being a 50-year Kentucky football fan. So I'm not going to give it away right now. No spoiler alerts, but you do have to buy the book in order to actually get those secrets. But yeah, the book is just a compilation of some random thoughts, things that are important to me. My faith is very important. Also travel. I love to travel. Just general life lessons of what I've learned in my time here on Earth. So whether that's something that you actually need to know, my hope is that I'm able to convey that to all you young guys, especially you, Chris. There are a lot of lessons to be learned, a lot of mistakes to be made. So you read this book, you'll see the ones that I made. You won't have to go through that.
Understood. And
what Jay is saying, when you doing the signings, Doc?
I'm too busy for signings right now. You got football, basketball coming out. There's absolutely no downtime whatsoever.
I mean, you are putting the whining in the
I got to practice. I got to walk my talk, man. Yeah, that's truly what it is. And the whining is really a joke. That's something I do complain throughout the book, but it's really about the life lessons that make up what the book is all about.
Well, you have carte blanche from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern every Sunday night to whine as much as you want.
After
wine,
the first,
or drink wine. You either whine, or if you're a wine drinker.
Well, after the first couple of weeks of the UK football season, you may see that whining ratchet up 1,000-fold. But that's what makes it exciting. That's why we cover the team. That's why we're all fans at heart.
That's why we do this, and misery will love company. But I'm curious, Doc, if this book went to film, went to Hollywood, who would play Doc in the movie?
It'd have to be somebody like Jackie Chan, right? Yeah, got kind of my demeanor.
Oh, that's a stereotype. Good Lord, not Brad Pitt or Tom Hanks.
No, it's got to be Jackie, right?
Jack, I'm okay with Jack. Oh, that's good. That's gold. All right, so let's see. Stop that. Bring us all back.
Thanks for the plug, Kevin. Always appreciate it.
Of course, I'm going to plug it every week because it's who you are to us. What's my next? Let's talk. We're about 15 minutes out from ending this. Michigan football. The NCAA did the justice of levying some penalties against the program. There's some financial penalties exceeding what I heard, 20 million. Probation of 4 years, 4 years. Show clause. What's the show cause order for Harbaugh, which is whatever. But they didn't strip them of the title. Doc, staying with you. What's just talk about something different than Kentucky sports. What was your take on the NCAA laying down the hammer?
I thought the penalties were pretty severe. I was a little bit disappointed that Michigan, I think, is still able to compete in the college football championships. I think if you took that away, that would really, really send a signal. But to me, they need to do that. You need to show these programs that cheating does not pay. And what they did was they cheated. This Michigan man ethos has taken a big hit out of all this. You think Ohio State players aren't going to bring that up every single time now? You guys cheated. And they undertook short-term gain for essentially a long-term punch in the gut. And when you look at these programs that have cheated over time, people like let's see, the Astros, their cheating scandal, the Patriots with their Deflategate and Spygate, and MSU and their death penalty, and even Kentucky basketball. When you look back to 48 and 49, Ralph Beard, even though they won the championship, they got caught up in the point shaving scandal afterwards, and people still bring that up. So it's a stain on your legacy. It's something that, if you're a football player during that time, you got cheated, because people are always going to wonder, did you all really win that championship? They're at a picnic. People are going to ask, hey, were you all really that good? Or was it just because your coaches stole all those signals from the other team? So it's a slap in the face of the players who were involved at that time. Character still matters. I know it sounds kind of Pollyannish, pie in the sky, but it's still about character. It's still about legacy. It's still about integrity. Was it John Wooden who said that the test of a man's character is what he does when nobody is looking? Well, when nobody was looking, Michigan cheated. That doesn't look good.
Corey, your take.
I mean, the fine is pretty severe. I think, excluding the fine, I think it was a slap on the wrist, honestly. I mean, given the show cause to Harbaugh, I mean, he's coaching the pros. I mean, what difference does it make if he show cause for college?
He's not wanting to come back to college anytime soon.
Yeah, and all this stuff about they get their title. I know, being here in Louisville, I hear some Cards fans they want their 2013 title back, which I hope they never get back. But that's just me. I saw on Twitter, someone said that Harbaugh at Michigan, prior to hiring Stallions, he was 49-26, and after he hired Stallions, he was 40-3. So clearly something was going on there. I mean, I'm glad that Stallions has a show cause, because he was obviously the one that did the cheating. So yeah,
his show cause. What is his 8 years?
Yeah.
For noted his intentional destruction and withholding of materials and information. So he cheated, and he was a liar too during the. Okay, real quick, BZ,
yeah, honestly, I agree with what y'all were saying. It's just a slap in the wrist. Like 20 million really isn't a lot for the university at all. I mean, they make a lot more than that. I do believe they should have had a postseason ban, probably not for long, but 2 or 3 years, just to know that cheating isn't allowed, tolerated in sports. And honestly, I just felt like it was a slap on the wrist, and Michigan should have been punished more.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. What is it? 20 million, $50,000 fine, equivalent of 10% of the blah, 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 blah. Probation, 4 years of probation. There's some recruiting limitations. See, this is my take when it comes to schools that are caught cheating. I'm not a big fan of the school getting punished like now or in the future that would affect the current players or people involved or people within the program, because it's not their fault. But I do think schools like in this case Michigan, the biggest fine that you could get, they should have stripped them of the championship. Yeah. I mean, it clearly the NCAA is saying they cheated, and during this process of cheating, you won a national championship. Should have took it away.
Yeah,
just saying. Crickets. I don't know. All right. All right, real quick. Staying with the Big Ten, which is actually 12 teams, right? They want to expand the college football playoff format to 24 or 28 teams. And what this would mean basically is the elimination of conference championship games. Obviously, you're going to, with that many teams, you're going to have to add some weeks to the schedule. Automatic bids. Let me see. The format would heavily rely on automatic bids for the Power Four. No shit. Big 10, 7, SEC 7, ACC 5, Big 12 5. Those are as in automatic bids. Other conferences 2 for the non. Doc. Obviously, money is the one of the big drivers of this, but shit, you're complaining about downtime. If we go to 24, 28 teams, you would write your book again, whining even more for prosperity. But go ahead. What would be your?
It's obviously a money grab. That's the bottom line. It's all about the money, and this indication of trying to expand is nothing more than that. They try to cover it up by saying, well, it's going to be kind of like March Madness, but it's not March Madness. College football is never going to be like college basketball. You're never going to have, as long as I live, probably as long as my kids and grandkids live, you're not going to have a number 16 seed upset a number 1 seed ever. Does anybody really even want to?
Whoa!
In college football?
In what?
Yeah.
All football.
Yeah. Is anybody?
It has happened recently.
No, in college football, it is never going to happen.
No, I'm saying in fact,
basketball. I don't even want to see that matchup. It's going to be carnage. Does anybody really want to see a 23rd ranked team that just squeaks into this college football, show up in Athens, Georgia, and get pummeled 49-0? No, that's not going to be fun. Let's don't do that. It's not basketball. It's not March Madness.
But at the same time, too, March Madness, when you do see the 1s versus 16, you typically see the same result. So should we eliminate that?
No, because there's a possibility, the way basketball is structured, that you still can have this upset, especially nowadays. NIL, transfer, 5 guys, 1 guy can make all the difference. But no, in football.
So you're saying, like the movie said, that one movie said, so
there is a chance of basketball. There's no chance in football. You can take that to the bank. All right. Plus, I'm also a big proponent of, I love this week-to-week college football structure where every single game matters. If you let 28 teams in, then okay, it's going to be like the NFL light. You lose, so what? There's going to be a chance to make it back. Some people like that. I don't like that. I like every week to be do or die.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Corey, your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Let's hear your whining.
24-20 is just way too much. I think, to me personally, I think the sweet spot would be 16. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they'll probably go 16 soon. Probably more sooner rather than later. It's kind of like in basketball, they're kind of testing our patience. They're kind of saying, let's go to 72, 76. I mean, in a way, obviously more teams would be more games. It'd be kind of fun to watch. But I think overall, for the quality of the product, I think adding 12 to 16 more teams is just crazy.
BZ, what you say?
I think for me, I mean, expanding it that far would be way too much. And honestly, I feel like 16 teams would be way too much as well for college football playoff. I mean, like you said earlier, like a 16 seed would never defeat a number one seed. In
I
the
didn't say it.
football playoff.
He
I know,
I
Doctor.
said it.
Yeah,
I
Doctor.
said it. But on the other hand, Kevin's been egging me on. I can
Yeah.
feel it. I know why he puts my book on there. He wants
Yeah.
me to whine like this. Yeah,
It's
reel
like
me
this.
in. Reel me in.
Oh yeah,
I'll
Doc,
bite.
do this, Doc.
Yeah. I mean, I love expanding because you get other teams that would never make the college football playoff make it because of the expansion. Like I remember a few years ago back in 20,
Don't you want those players to be able to tell their grandkids one day that they made the?
but then you could say, "Oh, we got blown out in the first round of the."
Well, they wouldn't say that part.
They wouldn't say that part. But I remember a few years ago whenever UK went 10-3 in the 21 season, everybody was like, "Hey, if the college football playoff expands soon, Kentucky might eventually make in the next few years." And sadly, we've gone on downward trend since then. But like it would be great to see the expansion, just to see more teams get in. But at the same time, it would just be a money grab, and probably the ideal number would be probably just 8 teams making it, in my opinion.
Jeez, so that quote right there, just you got removed from the Big Ten's Christmas list. They don't want to associate with you, and you probably won't go on Matt Lander's podcast anytime soon. All right, I think we agree that 24-28. That's really for what it's worth, Doc. I'm with it. Doesn't need to be that 16 to me is the if Division 2 or 1 what are all the other divisions can do 16 games playoffs, so can D1, and I think 16 is.
I don't know. We already had a whole lot of blowouts, even with 12 this year. So
we did.
I think part of that was the seeding process too. Though.
Right.
I
That's
think
true.
Fixed that since then. So.
Well, I think when you come down to the seedings, I do think the 12 teams, the committee that picks the team, I think they, for the most part, they've gotten it right. I don't like how, I guess by conference they're guaranteed like a certain seed. I should seed it based on the top, 12, 1 through 12, or eventually 16. All right, let's do one more thing. This is the AP Top 25 that was released this past Monday. Lots of SEC love. Doc, looking at this, obviously it's a preseason ranking. No one truly knows. It's really more for fans and shows like this and Matt's podcast, not Jones, the other Matt, to talk about. Anything on here? Does this kind of feel right to you heading into the opening?
I don't like it because it doesn't speak very, very well for how Kentucky's going to end up doing. If they have to play the number 1, the number 5, number 13,
15.
Yeah, number 15, number 21.
18. Don't they play Oklahoma?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, 21 and then
24.
24. That's not good. They're going to have to pull off an upset or two to get to my 7-5 then.
7-5. Holy hell. And next week we'll be breaking down every present company will get an invite to next week's show. I plan on having a whole lot of people because I want to get everyone's prediction and make fun of anyone that has a number anywhere close to 10, because I will. But yeah, Corey, anything you see here that jumps out at you?
I had to check to make sure, 'cause I could not believe this, but this is amazing. The first time that Texas has ever been the AP preseason #1 team.
Ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could
And
not
they
believe
never
that.
won a championship, right? Have they
No,
ever won? I don't think they've won a national championship. Have they?
yeah, Vince Young.
Vince Young. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But I was amazed by that. That's, I mean, with the history of them, that's amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's preseason. It's hard to tell. But I mean, once again, you look at it, and year in, year out, we have a brutal schedule. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping for 6 wins.
Me too. I really am. BZ, anything
Yeah.
you see here?
Yeah, I was looking just at the list. I mean, 6 of the teams that UK will be facing are in the top 25, and then 4 other teams that aren't even in the top 25 are getting votes. So 10 out of 12 matchups UK will
That's a
be
good point.
facing this upcoming year. You know,
Wait a minute, Toledo, right?
yes,
Toledo, yep.
Toledo.
Oh,
So
shit.
10 out of 12 matchups they're facing are either in the top 25 or getting votes, and it's just insane to think about. And like I said, if UK had an easier schedule, I would believe they could go bowling this upcoming year. But since they have such a hard schedule, and in the past few years, the way it has gone downhill trend since the 21 season, like I don't have the highest expectations, but I don't have the lowest expectations. I do feel like they will do better than last year, and hopefully they will succeed my goal of 5 wins and get to the 6-win mark.
I said this last week. The difference with our program from a fan's perspective, this is me talking, the difference from our program versus basically probably most of the teams you see on this list here is that for me as a fan, I started 0 and try to figure out how many wins we're going to get, where the Texas, Bamas, Georgias of the world start at 12 and look how many potential losses they get. That's not going to change for me. I'm hoping we can pull off 6 and get us back to a bowl. One thing as a fan, and I'll say it, that I hate to see when our program is not on the same level right now as in Indiana, as our neighbors. Say it for better for worse. I live in Louisville, and the school here in town, they're trending, in a more positive than us.
So, Kevin, do you count losses for basketball? Do you go that route for our basketball program?
I have to admit, no. I start undefeated, and for basketball, I'll look at how many losses. I don't
Right.
look
So
at
you go the opposite
yeah,
way.
I go the
You do
opposite
that.
way.
Yeah. So here's an interesting thing: more wins for UK football or more losses for UK basketball this year?
Oh, great question. I want to say with our basketball roster, we have our losses. Yeah, I think we should have our loss count for basketball should be oh, that's a great question. How would you say? And don't pose that question to the host of the show. You answer the question.
Well, if I'm going to go with my 7 wins for UK football, then I'm thinking that UK football will have more wins than Kentucky basketball will have losses.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good Corey. What about you?
That's Doc brings up a great question. I mean, I'm thinking 5 and 7 for football. And basketball, the SEC will not be as loaded as it was last year. So, yeah, I could see basketball having less than 5 losses. 5 losses.
The expectation for basketball is we get to closer to the basketball season. It's really going to be crazy. And between that, I hope we can. I'm going to find every way possible to get every mat every Matt guy who has a podcast to come on. Jones, Orlando, everybody. Beasy, what's same to you?
I mean, looking at UK's football schedule, I would probably go with like 5-7, and like you said, I would look, from 0 wins to see how many wins they can get. And each and every year, I've been wrong about what I believe their football prediction will be since the 22 season. I went 9-3 in 22 to 8-4 in 23, and then I was hoping they could get to 7 wins in 24. Sadly, that didn't happen. Now I'm at 5 wins, so I'm keeping my expectations low, and I'm hoping we can win at least our three. I know we have 4 out of conference opponents, but our 3 out of conference opponents, and then hopefully beat Louisville, and then an SEC foe, or win 2 SEC games and lose to Louisville. But I hope they do better than 5 wins. And then for basketball, I don't really start with 40-0. Like, I think I stopped doing that after that 2015 team when we lost to Wisconsin. But I just look at the schedule, and I believe this year my expectations are to go 25-6 in the regular season. Probably that would be my guess.
Well, I mean, if you started 40 or whatever, what is it really now? 32, 38. Is it 40 games right now? Yeah, because that's you would have been one off season in a sense. So, all right, we are. I did pretty good, a little over 60 minutes, but good stuff tonight. Again, next week we are going to do the season prediction for each game. Totally football stuff next week. So, all right, final shots. Doc, give it to me.
As a big supporter of the academic portion of the college experience, it's the beginning of a new school year. As sports fans, we tend to kind of neglect the book aspect of what these athletes have to go through. So as they head into this new school year, 2% of them are thinking of playing professionally. So to them, kudos, hit the field hard, do whatever you need to do in order to improve your draft stock. For the other 98%, hit the books. That's going to ultimately be what's going to be important for them. So my degree from the University of Kentucky is still my most valuable asset outside of my human relationships with those that I care about and those I love. So that's something that I hope the student athlete truly gets a great experience this school year.
And, piggybacking on what Doc said, if you don't hit the books, at least buy the book. Again, Doc's book is on Amazon. The link is in the description.
Amazon, all proceeds go to my dad's to the charity, academic scholarship charity, honoring my dad. So that's something that you can also participate in the legacy of the Huangs.
And we should just, in case, start reaching out to Jackie Chan for the to get him involved for the movie.
Yeah, and also don't neglect. We got to have people playing Barnhart, Mitch Barnhart, and John Calipari, and all those guys. So I'm open. Hollywood hasn't called yet, but I'm waiting. I want to be ready.
Got to be ready. Corey, final shot, sir.
First off, I got to burst your bubble. Next Sunday, I'm turning 40 next Monday. So Sunday, I'm going to be out
Whoa,
about.
You're so. What?
I'm turning 40. 40. 40.
40?
40. Yeah, I know.
I thought you were probably pushing 30, dude.
No. I'll be 40 next Monday. So next Sunday, I'll be out and about. So
okay, where would that be?
Well, I'm going to the state fair, but that's not gonna be all day, obviously. But I'll find something to get into,
Oh, come on! If you're next Sunday night at the state fair, can we can you just jump in for fun? Because to me, there's nothing like being at the state fair just to people watch.
I mean, that's pretty much why I'm going. Is to watch people. So it'll be fun. My final shot. I know college football starts, well, at least for us, for UK, it starts in 13 days, but in 5 days, high school football starts in our state, and I'm a proud Male alum, and I know we're third all time in the U.S. in wins. I'm looking forward to how well they do this year. We got a tough
in the U.S. for real.
Yes, third. Yep, all time. There's actually 3 schools from our state that are in the top 5. Male, Mayfield, and Fort Thomas Highlands.
Wow.
So we got some schools with a lot of great history. I say, go out and support your school.
This is where Corey Price really shows off these stats. Who the hell would know that Male was the number 3 in the nation, and
Wow.
and 3 of the 3 schools in the state were in the top 5? And as a Manual alumni,
Boo.
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 there's a finger. I won't. Beasy, what you got? Final shot, bud.
Final shot. I'm just happy to see Andrea Yelovich finally on campus. He just posted onto his Instagram story probably about 30 minutes of him being at the Joe Craft Center, and then also checking out his locker room. So I'm just excited to see him on campus. I'm excited to see the full team back on campus, I believe, come next weekend. So it's going to be exciting times for sure for basketball and hopefully football. Hopefully they can do somewhat well this year to keep the fans' interest throughout the season before basketball season starts.
It is. And with Go Fern Creek. High school football, I mean, it is fun. High school football in this state is a big deal. Maybe not be as crazy as like a Texas, but I mean, it's fun. Yeah, so good stuff. Doc, CP, and BZ, thanks for the hang tonight. Everyone in the chat, thank you for hanging with us, chatting with us. Appreciate it. Wishing everyone a good Sunday night, a good week. We will be back next week for our Kentucky football prediction. Less Corey, unless Corey will live stream from the state fair. I will try to bug him.
Yeah.
All right, everyone have a good night. Peace out. Go Cats.